Good evening to everyone, District 20 and beyond. This is Alan Paul, your District 20 Public Relations Manager and your host for today. Now, before I start, let me read out the district mission. That is, we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Now, let me welcome and acknowledge the district officials, past leaders, future leaders, precious members of District 20 to this unique event, which is the first of its kind that has never been seen before. All part of our vision to create awareness. Now, if you were to ask me, why did you join Toastmasters? Or if I were to ask you, why did you join Toastmasters? Most of us will say that we came here to improve our communication skills, right? But very rarely do we get to hear someone talk about improving their leadership skills. If I were to if I were to give you a personal experience of mine, when I joined Toastmasters, I was just a technical consultant with no experience leading or managing a team. Toastmasters gave me that experience to be a part of a team, to lead a team, and to also guide them. It gave me enough exposure that when I migrated to another country, and when companies were asking me about my leadership experience and what I can bring to their company, I told them about my experience in Toastmasters, about my experience being a leader, about empowering individuals, working with a team, resolving conflicts, guiding my members, and a lot of things that I wouldn't have been able to do if I was just a technical consultant at my workplace. Toastmasters International provides us that opportunity to showcase your leadership skills, to learn from experienced leaders on how to be great leaders. And most of you have this experience taking leadership experience within a club. But if you are thinking of taking up a role as a leader beyond the club, I suggest you do that and you will know what it takes to be a leader in this event. You will get to know what it takes to be a district leader. We had this event 2 weeks back, and now we are back again on popular demand, having some more sessions. In this event, we'll be talking about the nomination and the voting procedures. We'll be also having a mock interview. You will get to see how exactly the district potential district leaders are being interviewed by having a small mock interview session. You will have a panel discussion followed by a lessons learned segment by an experienced Toastmaster, followed by question and answers. Then later at 9:15, please stay tuned because we'll be also having a group picture to showcase ourselves in our District 20 social media. So with that being said, let's start the show. District leadership chair is our first presenter for today. He'll be talking about the nominating and voting procedures. He is the one who led District 116 to become number one in the world during 2019-2020. And he was the second in command as PQD when District was number one for the first time in 2018 and 19. He started his Toastmasters journey in 2008 through a speechcraft program conducted by Qatar Toastmasters Club, and he has held various leadership positions in Toastmasters, such as president of 3 clubs, mentor and sponsor of 9 clubs, area director, division director, district TLI chair, and program quality director. And he has held leadership positions even outside Toastmasters as well. He is the past chairman of the Engineers Forum and KEF. In 2016, he was bestowed with the District 20 Toastmaster of the Year award, chosen from more than 8,500 Toastmasters in 7 countries. Without much further ado, let's welcome him with a huge round of virtual applause. Distinguished Toastmaster Raghavan Menon.
Thank you, Alan. District Director Alifia and all other leaders who are present here today. Welcome to this today's session. I will be presenting you on the District Leadership Committee, what it is, and the nomination process briefly in the next 15 minutes. So let's get started. What is DLC and its role is a question which all of you should understand. DLC is a committee appointed by the district director, and the scope of the DLC is to evaluate all candidates who have applied for various roles. We'll see what are the roles coming in the next slides. And to nominate the best candidates for that particular role. And later, the members of the district will be electing the best from that list. So this is my responsibility will end at nominating the most suitable candidates, and the electing process is to be done by the members of the district. Now, what are the positions available for taking? We have division directors. There are 9 positions available, A to I. We have club growth director, 1 number. We have CGD, program quality director, 1 number. And we have district director, 1 number. So all these positions are available for you to participate. Now, what are the criteria for these positions to be, a candidate? So there are certain criteria specific to that particular role. There are certain general criteria. First, we'll start with the general criteria. The first one being is you can take up only 1 position. In this district, you cannot be 2 positions. You can't be a division director and a PQD, or a district director and a CGD, or any combinations. You can't. You can select or take up only 1 position. You can stand only from 1 district. That is rare, which people may have membership in multiple districts. Nowadays, especially on a Zoom scenario, people may have membership in other districts, but you can be there where you are, where your district is. And at the time of taking office, in good standing, you should be for the last 12 months, the preceding 12 months, at the time of taking the office, which means even now you have done 6 months, and then after December again you will do 6 months, and we have to be taking office only in July. So even this 1 year you are there, that is enough. But 12 months continuously you have to be in that particular district, or alternatively you have to be 12 months consecutively, cumulatively consecutive months in 3 years calendar. 3 years calendar. This is the only simple reason is, suppose you are you work in Kuwait, for example, and then you get a job in Doha in Qatar, and you come here as a guest, and then after that you go back to Kuwait, and then to all put together you have to be 12 months in the last 3 years. This is what it means. You got to be there in that country. Now we'll see what are the specific requirements, eligibility criteria for those roles. First, we'll start with division director. The first one says, at the time of taking office, 6 consecutive months you should have been as an area director or club president or club BPE. So this is a requirement for becoming a division director, applying for a division director. And in addition to that, it also, this is what it is for the division director. But for CGD and PQD, we have the same eligibility criteria. We'll see what they are. First one is, at the time of taking the office, 12 consecutive months, you should have been a PQD, CGD, division director, area director, or a combination of these 2. Why we say combination? In our part of the world, it's not relevant. Normally, when you are elected, you are there for 1 year, that is 12 months. But in many countries, like in the US, they have 6 months term. Sometimes some of the roles will be for 6 months. So that is why they're saying cumulatively it should be 12 months, consecutively 12 months. You have to be taking up this role. And 6 consecutive months as a club president. This is also one of the criteria. So these criteria, if you meet, you can stand for CGD or PQD. Now the district director, the topmost position, what are the criteria there? At the time of taking office, 12 consecutive months as PQD, CGD, division director, or combination of these. So any of this you can. That is important. And in addition to that, 6 consecutive months as a club president. And here what you can notice is area directors cannot apply for a district director position, because in the PQD, CGD, area director could, but here area director cannot. So that is the only difference for the district director position. Now, how to apply for this position? If you see a nomination form on the right hand side, the picture what is given, first you got to fill it up. The DLC will call for candidates declaration, with deadlines to apply. There is one slide in the towards the end where we have the dates as well. You can see the dates. But first, when the DLC announces that this is the date you have to start applying, you have to send in your form. And along with that, we will be circulating the form which is given on the right-hand side. So it's a editable PDF form. You can fill in all details on your computer itself, and you can send it out. So this form will be evaluated along, the DLC will evaluate, and then accordingly, the process will start. Candidate to apply for a district leader nominating form. This is what we are talking about the form which is there on the right-hand side. Now, how to apply? Again, candidate application is what I just said. This particular application has to be given with 2 pages and a lot of details in there. You have to fill up your which position you are applying for, because this is a form common for all the positions. So you can tick which one you are doing, and your details, your name, your TI number, district, which officer position you are doing, all the details you can go on filling it up. The questions asked here, it's very, very easy and simple to apply. And along with that, you have to send a form called biographical information. Again, this is there are certain questions asked about you and your thoughts about what you want to do in that position, etc. So you can fill it up. This has to be written with handwritten. Then fill it up, and then you can send it to the DLC. This is again 2 pages. Along with that, you have to submit your photograph. This is your photograph. You have to give along with that a small passport size small photograph, which will be required for publishing after the selection process. And what is the nomination process? This is what we are going to talk about. Nomination process is nothing but I, as a DLC chair, will have a team. The team is equally represented by all the divisions in your district, and the committee, this is known as the DLC committee or the DLC team. We will sit together, and now since people are in different countries and not able to meet each other, we will have this interview through Zoom. So it will be a group interview. There will be panelists on one side and candidate on one side, other side, and we will have a discussion on what are your views and what you want to do as that particular leader position, why you think you are suitable for it. Various type of questions will be asked to you. A sample of that you will be seeing in the subsequent discussion, which we'll be having a mock interview. There you will see how a panel interview look like. And typically a panel interview goes for about 45 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. But today we'll be having a shortened version of 10 to 15 minutes. Division director only 10 minutes, and for CGD 15 minutes. So there, this is the process. And then finally, the DLC DLC members will sit together, and they will do a voting in writing, and whom you think, if there are 2 candidates or 3 candidates apply for one position, out of that, who's the most suitable, or if there are more than one, if there are 2, then we may say 2 people are eligible, and who is a nominated candidate. So this decision will be taken by the DLC in a very democratic way, and by casting votes and justifying why you think that is good. That discussion will happen in the DLC meeting, which will be only within the closed doors. And then finally, that decision will be made. So candidates are evaluated using the form which is on the right-hand side, that has got all the parameters, all the qualities which we are looking for in the future leader. What if the DLC is not nominated you as a candidate? If there are 3 candidates or 2 candidates, and one gets nominated, one does not, but you've gone through the DLC process of the interview, then what happens is you have all the right to stand as a floor candidate. If you know that, if the old people will remember, there's a concept of floor candidate even then. But the difference now is that those days the floor candidates could come from nowhere and stand as a floor candidate without going through this process of DLC interview. But now that is not possible. The last 2 or 3 years, it is not possible. You have to go through a DLC process of the interview. That is first applying using that forms which I showed you earlier, and then undergoing the interview process. Then you are either selected, not selected, then you have the right to stand from the floor. But again, this has to be intimated to the district director 7 days before the elections. Elections are normally held in the annual business meeting, which is held part of the DTAC. The DTAC, if it is a 3-day or 2-day affair, the last day would be the election. Last to last but one day will be the election. So that day, the date will be announced by the district when is the DTAC. So this will be part of the DTAC. So you have to inform your intention of standing from the floor 1 week before or before even earlier. 1 week is the minimum. It can be even 2 weeks before or 1 month before. It's up to you. The moment it is announced that your name is not there, only those people this need to be done. So just for the information of all the candidates who are interested, and for some reason you are not there in the list, you can stand from the floor. What are the timelines? I'll briefly go through the timelines. The timelines are: calling for nominations will start on December 10th. That is this another 10 days from now. We'll start nominations and we will close the nominations on January 10th. You have 1 full month. That is more than enough to fill up a form. The filling up the form takes hardly 5 to 10 minutes. So we have given you 1 full month for doing it. So it is not a big deal. Those who are interested, please come forward. And if you think somebody else is deserving to be in that position, please motivate. Please tell that person you are the right person for the next division director or next CGD. And motivate that person so that he or she applies for this position. And announcing the names of the nominated candidates will be 4 weeks before the district council meeting. This will be done by the district director. Will announce through email or put it in the website or both. So this is the way it will be announced to the members of the district. These are the these are the names for all these positions. As a DLC committee, will be giving these details 6 weeks before the district council meeting to the district director, and district director will announce it 4 weeks before, or it could be even earlier, but I'm just saying this is a minimum time required. Elections will be the DECM 2 during DCM 2 during the DTAC 2022. So I understand this is going to be a Zoom for you, but so election also will be a Zoom election. So that details, etc., will be worked out and announced by the district later. So these are all what I wanted to share with you as a presentation, and good luck to all of you who are the new district leaders. So here the timer may say I think is less than 15 minutes, but it doesn't matter. We'll move on to the next session. So I will stop the sharing here. And those who have some questions on this presentation, what I made, or later on the interview, please shoot them to our MC, Alan Paul, who will be handling the question and answer session towards the end. So his chat box, you can send it to him, only to him, and he will take all the questions and present it later. So that ends the presentation part, the theory part. Now we are going to have the practicals. The practicals is nothing but a mock interview. It's a mock interview. So remember, it is not going to be exactly like an interview, but a miniature, a sample of a real interview. Real interview, as I told you, will go for 30 to 45 minutes. But here we are limiting, because of the time constraint, we are limiting to just 10 minutes per candidate for the division director and 15 minutes for the CGD. So we're just showing you a sample. So those who are the people who are interested to go up the ladder and take up the leadership position, which all of you should, in my opinion, whoever is present here, I encourage all of you to take up those positions. Or tell your friends, tell your other leader friends who you think that the ideal person to come up and grab this opportunity. So let's start with this today's mock interview. May I request the Zoom master to what do you call that? Spotlight the 2 panelists. Now, after that, when the candidate will be called out, the name, you can you can do his her also, whoever is there. So one of the panelists is Rajesh Sundareshan, the past district 116 director, as well as past DLC chair of district 20. Now we have the second panelist is distinguished Toastmaster Khurram. Khurram is also a past district director as well as past district leadership committee chair. So both of them are the best people available at the moment, and I'm sure they're going to really do a good job and demonstrate to you how an interview has to be conducted. And the first candidate I would request is Gigi, who's applied for the position of Division A Director. So that's for just an example. So she will be interviewed by first Rajeshwar. You can spotlight Kurum also for a minute, and then after that, or three can be on the spotlight, no problem. Rajeshwar will start.
May I ask them to start their? Yes.
Yeah, I'm logging in from
all three can be on the spotlight, and then Rajeshwar will start. 5 minutes, he will ask the questions. So the trick of the trade, Vijay, is for all the candidates is you have to answer quickly, precisely, and short. It shouldn't be too long, because the more time you take, the less number of questions you'll be able to answer. So here you will be having 5 minutes, means you should be able to answer 5 questions. That is 1 minute per question. But if you go on elaborating it, probably you will end up having less. The more questions you answer, the more you are putting up and saying that I am the right candidate for this position. So that should be the aim, to answer as many questions as possible. At the end of 5 minutes, there'll be a red light, and wherever you are, either the interviewer or the candidate, you have to freeze it, stop it at that point, and then, even if you're halfway through a question or answer, stop it at that point. This next questioner, which is Kuram, will come in and he will continue another question. All right. So good luck to Biji and Rajeshwar. Over to you.
Good evening, Biji. Thank you for being here, and thanks for your interest to be a division director. My name is Sundaresh and Rajeshwar. The questions will be from 3 main areas. One is leadership, second is management, team building and communication, and third is Toastmasters knowledge. So you have to try to answer 3 questions, and if I have time permits within the 5 minutes, we can have more questions. So I'll start. Are you ready, Vijay? I can't hear you.
Yes, I am. I'm ready.
Okay. Your first question. What leadership skills and experience can you bring to the district? What leadership skills and experience can you bring to the district?
Thank you very much, DTM Rajeshwar, for the question. When you talk about leadership, it starts from within. It starts from home. So this is something that I've cultivated throughout the years, which is over 15 years of working and over 10 years plus in Toastmasters. So leadership for me is all about being humble, having the courage to make a change, and being clear in your instruction, which I have received from my previous mentors. The experience is how I informed you, so that's what I have to bring to the table.
Thank you. Next question. What will you do differently than past leaders?
Succeed.
What will you do differently?
Which is what all our past leaders.
Okay. If you want me to repeat, please tell me.
I believe it's okay. I think we have a network issue. It's my side, but I heard your question loud and clear. Thank you very much. So what would I do differently than the past leaders? I believe success is something that we all look for, and we would like to see how that is coming into reality when every leader takes over. And success for past leaders may have been different, but for me, it would be the success of my team that I bring along with me, success of the members of the district, and they are the ones who contribute to a leadership's actual skill. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Describe a successful team you led.
Over the years, I've had some really big shoes to fill in. Coming from a very humble background in Toastmasters, from a member role, I was given opportunities to escalate, even be part of leaders or in groups of diverse personalities. And one such event that I had to run was the chief judge for the DTAC contest. And dealing with different personalities, I was able to identify my leadership role, which was trying to bring the best out of everyone. So you just have to have a good communication and make sure that people know what you want to do and your vision is communicated. So that's the team that I was able to lead successfully by putting all that into action.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you for that answer. How satisfied are you with performance in leadership roles or positions you held so far?
There was just one disappointment that I had, was that I didn't have enough chance in that position. If when you're put into a role, especially when you don't have that much of experience, the first year is like when you break the shoes, when you actually try to walk the walk. And by not having served in that position for a longer time that I expected, was really dissatisfying to me. So that's something I would look for a change, so that leaders can actually put that into practice the next year they take on. Over to you.
Thank you. Who was the most influential mentor in your journey so far? And what difference he made in you?
Wow, now I cannot pinpoint just one influential mentor, because that will not serve the mentors or give them their fair justice. My first mentor would, of course, be my mom. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have been able to do anything. But in Toastmasters, many leaders have helped me, and they changed myself to believe in me. That's what they helped me do, my mentors.
Register, I think it's red light.
Yeah,
I can
I
see.
think I see that. I see that. Thank you for that. Over to you, Kuram.
Thank you, Rajesh, for that question. Vijay, thank you for coming up and stepping up. That's the first step that you're taking towards your leadership journey. Could you tell me which division are you applying for?
I'm applying for Division A.
Okay. And how many clubs does Division A have?
Well, as of now, we have a total of 40 some clubs. Okay. The last update that I've seen.
How many clubs are under 12?
Can you clarify that question?
In terms of membership, how many clubs do you think are under 12?
Okay, I think Division A is one of the strongest divisions that I've heard of, and considering the leaders that bought the Division 4th, I would say not too many. If I had seen the last yeah, thank you.
Now, but there are definitely some clubs, right? That would be there, that are under 12. Let's start with that area in particular. What is your plan for those weaker clubs?
Weaker clubs have many issues. The most, I think, underlying issue would be the club not sustaining. Put aside the COVID situation, this is an unprecedented time that we've been through. But those particular clubs that I see have not been able to retain those members due to them not having the same flow in the Toastmasters club area. So to bring those clubs to a successful, or try to get them out of the slow or the slug mode that you said, I think would be to spread that vision amongst themselves, be a self-ambassador for their clubs and try to market it more. And I think that's what that area is lacking, considering social media and digital marketing being available for all the members. I think by properly marketing that area would definitely bring out them more within the division.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. And I hope you achieve that part as well. Let's move on. Now, I'm a huge fan of scenario-based questions, Vijay. I like to put you into scenarios to really test that mettle of yours that, hopefully is stronger. So tell me this, you achieve division directorship. Now you're the division director, brilliant. What kind of people are you surrounded with, or do you surround yourself with?
I think by saying that would not do justice, because I cannot be surrounded by positive people all the time. I cannot be surrounded by negative people all the time either. But I know that I'm surrounded by people who share the same values, the same core ideas of what Toastmasters is about. And we all have just one main aim, that is to support each other, help us build up. But putting all that aside, we all come together with one vision, which is to take the division forward and helping the foundation, which is the membership, grow. So I think if we go back to the core values of being a human being and being respectable and honest in your dealings with each other, or even up when you go up to a higher level, never forget where you come from. So I believe with that, and of course, all the experience and leadership skills and everything that comes, I think this is more core for me and the team.
Absolutely, brilliantly answered. And tell me this, of course, you're going to have a team, your division director, you're implementing your leadership, right? You've got one of your team members, say the PR of your division, and he or she is not performing up to the standards. They're not responding, they're disagreeing to everything that you're saying. Overall, they're not creating a good environment for you to work with. How do you handle that particular case?
Wow. So I would try to understand from the PR. I mean, there's a reason why I would have chosen that person from the beginning. And there may have been certain situations that's withholding that person from doing his responsibility, which is the PR, which is the most crucial and the important factor, I would say. I would try to go on a deeper sense to figure out what this gentleman or person is going through. And second, bring the backup team on. I mean, Toastmasters is not a one-man show. Everybody has a part to play. And I would not necessarily be able to depend on everyone, but I would like to, which they like to do to me too. But I would definitely have a backup team to help the PR and not put all that pressure on just one person, which most likely is the case.
Many times, yes, indeed. Thank you, Bijay. You've been a great candidate. Over to you, our MC of the day.
Thank you, Kuram. So the first division director interview is over. Now we have the second division director who's applied for this position is Faisal. So may I request Faisal to be spotlighted, and we'll continue the same process. Rajesh first, 5 minutes, followed by Kuram next 5 minutes.
Good evening, Faisal. Good to see you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay, let's start with the question. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay.
Okay. What innovative approaches will you bring to the role as a division director? You're seeing the past leaders. What innovative approaches will you bring?
All right. What I see myself as a leader, because I have been from the club and then area, and it was a great opportunity for me to upgrade and apply all those skills. As Donald McGrannon said, the leadership is an action, not a position. So I believe there is a wider area after, as an area directorship, there is a wider area for me to explore more and to grab those opportunities and apply all those skills which I grabbed throughout the years. The innovative approach, it's our base as a leader to support our district is to strengthen the membership, listen the members, and their goals are our goals. To meet their goals, we have to listen them through the area directors. As a division director, that would be my first goal, to always be in touch with my area directors, which are my core team, and then my executive committee. So hand in hand, I believe we can create that synergy. I believe that I got, as my area directorship, I got a great team, and few of them, they already showed their interest that we can create that synergy to maintain that powerful impact this year also, if the chance was given.
Did you answer anything? Did you mention anything about innovation? I asked what innovative approaches you bring.
Innovation, if specifically I would mention about the innovation, we will discuss with the area directors with their ideas, and I will inculcate my ideas, because leadership is not only imposing at what I will say they have to do it. I believe I will discuss with them what kind of innovative ideas they do have, and then I can add my ideas to come up with a bigger goal which can be a success for our district.
Thank you. What challenges do you expect when you take up the role of a division director?
As a
Based on
leader,
your own background, what challenges do you expect?
it's a full of challenges. I believe the leadership is a challenge. Once you take a responsibility of something, it's completely, or from the starting point, is a challenge. There would be a lot of things that I would say the decision making, and how I would delegate responsibilities. And one of the things which is very common once we work in a team, that is a communication. That is the biggest challenge because we have different sort of people from different backgrounds. So that communication gap, I would try my best to fill those gaps, because I feel that is one of the biggest challenge.
Thank you. You mentioned about communication. How can you encourage members to speak up, to address concerns that a club or anything about district leadership?
Well, leadership is all about action. I believe instead of I will just pushing them by saying by words, I will do by myself, start with myself, being at the ground. I will speak, and I will set that example that if I can do it, I started 2 years back, and if I can reach at that level, they can do it as well. For that one, I believe I will go through the area directors and the club XCOM. We can have a meetings, and then we can find out what exactly issues they have, and then we can communicate effectively, and also encourage those members, especially who are frightened about public speaking.
Thank you. I think we have time for one last question for half a minute. Tell me the time you encountered a problematic situation, either at work or in Toastmasters, and how you dealt with it.
There are a lot, but I'm lucky that you asked me only one. I remember as an area director, there were.
I think we have time.
All right. If I'll mention the bigger problem, that will take maybe 1 hour. So I will select only.
Faisal, I think
the smallest
we should
one.
stop now. Time up, Faisal. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. So yeah. So now 2 division directors are over. Now we have the CGD interview.
Kuram has not finished.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I jumped. Yeah, Kuram has to take the next turn. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, DTM Raghuvan, and thank you to DTM Faisal. First of all, I appreciate that you dressed the part as well. That is a good thing. Now, fast forward 30th June 2023. You've served your term as the division director. You did all that you could. What have you done?
I'm so excited today to share that news that we maintained our club base. We started with the 18 clubs, and with the club growth, we have 4 areas, and each area we have 1+. That makes now 22 clubs, and we proudly say that we have achieved our goal with the club growth and the membership. We haven't declined from any club. All clubs have 20 members, which is one of the greatest achievement. And all areas are distinguished areas, where our 2 areas are present and distinguished. And I'm so happy to announce today that is not my success. That is a team success. We all clubs achieved their goals, which are not less than 8. And there are more than 9 and 10, but at least we achieved 8 goals in each club. All clubs completed their club officers training 7 out of 7. That was one of the biggest challenge, but we achieved with the help and support of our amazing district leaders.
Okay, so I would like to jump to other questions as well. So I appreciate that, but thank you for that. And it seems like you have it planned as well. Now, how are you preparing for your successor throughout your term? What's your plan to prepare a successor that carries on the legacy that you've just mentioned, all the good things?
I'm glad to announce that there was 6 years, 6 months. I already approached somebody. I find that that person is more creative. That person has better communication skills, management skills. I already communicated with them, and that was one of the biggest achievement. I feel that if I'm leaving today, there is a legacy, there is somebody who can hold on better than me, and I was still as a immediate past division director, I'll keep supporting them.
Brilliant. Okay, now let's come back to the current time. We've already done with the flash forward thing. Now tell me, how do you plan to utilize the immense resources of the district?
I believe we are so lucky that District 20 has planted so many seeds, and now they are not only a small plants, they are grown up as a tree, and we have so many resources which is created by our amazing leaders in District 20. And in few of many things, District 20 is also lucky to share those resources with throughout the other districts, and that resources would helpful for our whole district and clubs and areas.
But how do you plan to utilize it? What's your idea? Give me an example.
Sure. Since we have as a division, we will have 2 meetings in a year, which is a district council meeting. So in those district council meeting, in the first council meeting, I would be glad to share those all ideas that how we can move forward and utilize all those resources. We have resources from TI, from the district, and each and every person at the district level, or any even from the clubs, those who are really good. For example, somebody is really good in pathways, or somebody really good in IT or technical skills. I would try my best to gather all those people at one platform to serve better from the district level.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's great. Now tell me this. You work very closely with the district director, right? You're basically an extended version of the district director in that division in particular. The district director comes and asks you to do something which you completely disagree with. How do you handle that situation?
I believe district director would not ask me anything, because they know that decorum better than me, and they will not impose anything because they are the one we are looking at, and they would not do at that level. But still, if there is something which I'm offended, or I can't do it, which is not in my area, I can still pass on my humble words to that.
I think it's time up, Faisal. I think we'll stop at this point. You are saved.
More question. I'm excited now.
Yeah. So with that, we are coming to an end of the division director interviews over. 2 candidates we had, both of them performed very well. We'll wait for the feedback from the panelists. How did they fare, and what changes or what better they could do? Like in the evaluation, we'll do that towards the end. But now let's welcome our CGD candidate, Alifia. Welcome, Alifia, and over to you, Rajeshwar, for your first turn.
Good evening, Alifia. Thank you for being here with an interest to take up important district leadership position, which is Club Growth Director. You will have to answer minimum 4 questions out of 5 minutes. So try to pace your time accordingly. So that if you answer less questions, we may miss out some points, important points. So are you ready? Are you ready?
Good evening, DTM Rajeshwar. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Describe your roles and responsibilities, and how will you achieve this as a CGD?
Thank you, DTM Rajeshwar. The role and responsibility of a club growth director is to work towards the district mission. The mission is that we build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. So as a club group director, if I am nominated, my role would be towards the growth for the district and also taking care of the club. So my role would come in retention also. So I would be taking part of the growth and retention.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now in Toastmasters?
Since I started my journey in Toastmasters, say a decade back, and I really believe that one person, whoever, because this is a self-development journey, we need to evolve as a leader, we need to evolve as a communicator. So I have done step by step, I have done XCOM roles at the club level, then moved on to area, then the division. And today I'm interested in applying and moving up the ladder by applying for the CGD post. If members appreciate my work and they believe in my leadership, maybe the next 2 years or the next 3 years and another 1 more, 4 years, I would like to serve the district, completing my term as immediate past district director.
Thank you. Can you provide a specific example when you have inspired a group of Toastmasters to take action to serve our members?
Okay, so we, as a division director, we had a recently visit by RA, and she belonged to South Africa. So we, the district director, during that time when I was a division director, requested me that could you arrange a demo meeting for, since she is here, we would like to go visit corporates. So I went to my home club, and few of my members who are working in corporate, I did speak to them and motivated my club members. So we all together could arrange a demo meeting in a very short span of time in a corporate where she also came, visited, and she gave a motivation keynote as a region advisor.
You mean that helped the members to members?
Yes. The camaraderie between my members of my club, we were all together supporting each other. And within a span of 2 hours, we were able to do all that.
Do you have any experience of developing strategic plan and implementing it successfully?
Okay, DTM Rajeshwar, when I took up as a division director, in the beginning of the year only, the team met where I was blessed with 3 area directors, and to understand that what would make our division president distinguish. So in that strategic plan, we recognize what would our ultimate goal be. Then we recognize the correct people who could help us achieve this particular goal. Once that was done, we set timelines to achieve that a specific goal assigned to that Toastmaster. And within 6 months, my division was able to successfully charter 2 clubs by keeping this timelines in mind and the cooperation from the team members.
Alifia, you talked about strategic plan, which is probably a long-term plan, but what you explained was something like a plan, not strategic plan, which should have a long-term implications or orientation.
Right.
So do you have anything else to say where you were involved in a strategic plan?
As a division director,
if you don't want to answer, you can skip.
As a division director so far, not involved in higher strategic planning, but as for my division, whatever I have done, if by God's grace, if I'm nominated and members choose me, then as a CGD, definitely I would like to have a strategic plan for the district.
Thank you for that answer. Being distinguished is a goal every district officers look for. Have you seen an experience in some unethical practices to achieve either at club level being distinguished or at area level or division level? Have you come across anything like that? And if you have come across, if you come across, or how you reacted, and what will you do if at all it happens?
To be honest, in my journey so far, I haven't come across such unethical practice. But if at all I would face such a situation, I would go speak to the member one-to-one first, understand why this particular action was taken in order to make either the club or the area distinguished. Then ensure that the core values of Toastmasters are put in place, because when we sign up as a Toastmaster, respect, integrity are the two topmost core values. So we need to remind our members that we need to follow the core value. And if still not resolved, then I would move hierarchical structure and approach my next leader to help me sort this out.
You think this will solve the problem?
It would solve the problem. The damage would have already occurred, but maybe members would be more cautious, more fair towards each other, not to do something like this in the future.
Thank you. How will you address a low member club?
As a division director or as a club
No,
director?
CGD. You are a CGD candidate.
Yeah. So as a club group director, I would like to speak to the club ExCom, leading from the president and the vice president of education. Understand where the lapses is and motivate the club members to either conduct joint meetings and speak to the area director also, so that the club can conduct joint meetings with a stronger club to understand and imbibe the values that stronger club possess, and similarly carry out educational sessions or any other successful things which that successful club is doing. Moving on, also motivate the VPPR to ensure that the club is visible on every face of social media, and encourage the club eventually to conduct a speechcraft.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Kuram.
Thank you, Aditya Rajeshwar. And Aditya Malifia, welcome. I salute you for going for the role of the club growth director, which is often considered one of the toughest roles that the district has to offer and to serve in. Why is that?
As the district mission states and the role and responsibility of the club group director goes, the club group director is responsible for the growth and the retention. So both the aspect of the district mission, the club group director bears on his or her shoulder. So this role is very crucial for a district.
Very true. Now, who is Alifia Laktawala as a leader?
Alifia Lakdawala as a leader believes in the core value of Toastmasters. As leader, I like to motivate the team which I work with. Their success, their projection is my success. If they shine, if they are empowered, they are motivated to do something beyond their comfort zone, it is my success. So this is my leadership style, where I walk with my team. I never would like to take any credentials onto me, because in Toastmasters, one thing I have learned that it's not one man doing everything. It's a teamwork. And a successful team, a successful leader is recognized by his or her team.
Brilliantly said. Now, if there's one thing that the club growth director can achieve, just that one thing, regardless, of course, club growth director has to do so many things, but what is the absolute one thing, in your opinion, that you need to accomplish in order to be a good club growth director?
Since you have told me one, but I have two things in mind, but that one thing which I would like to do is empower every VP membership and ensure that new membership orientation program is conducted every week for any new guest or member who's attending the club. So there are no way that he goes just as a potential guest. He will turn into a Toastmaster once he attends the meeting.
Brilliant. Olivia, language clubs. What is your plan as a club growth director for language clubs?
Since we are still emerging with the languages, and the established language are Arabic and Tamil, what District 20 at the moment has, I would like to encourage these clubs to participate in content, starting from club, going all the way to division. Probably would put a proposal to the district as a club group director, to the director, to the program quality director, and approve from the ExCom and the council for this one thing. And for the emerging languages, a lot of incentives at club level itself to begin with, and eventually get them in the system with proper contest training and encourage the district to have them eventually at the CAT level.
What is your thoughts about language club? Are you in the favor of them? Do you think we should have more of them, or what we have is enough? Because there usually gets a gap between the language clubs and the district. What's your opinion on that?
Understanding the geographical condition of District 20 right now, where we have two countries, and recently I believe that in the forthcoming year we will be having two more countries added to the district. The two countries are saturated. So if we need to expand our wings, expand the growth of the district, we need to penetrate into language clubs. There are many forums in Bahrain and Kuwait who totally are in cultural environment where we have many Indian languages dominating cultural clubs, or rather societies, where if we innovatively put the Toastmasters approach, I think people are comfortable speaking in their mother tongue. And that will bring a lot of variety in the district.
Brilliant. Olivia, District 20 has had a history of club growth directors not being able to progress to program quality directors. What do you have to say about that?
I think it's not very, there have been few leaders who have moved up the ladder systematically. It all depends as a leader what you have promised and how much you give your members. If I have promised A, B, C, then I should deliver that A, B, C. Members are smart and they do it.
All right, brilliant. Now, the district director comes to you and questions you about the performance of an area director, right? And asks you to get rid of them. How would you handle that situation?
Get rid of the area director?
Basically get them out of the role because they've not been performing.
So understanding the hierarchy and the protocol of Toastmasters International, it is not the club board director whose ultimate decision is to ask the area director to vacate the office. It is the role of the district director. Going back to the books and by the protocol, I would request the district director to do the honors.
Absolutely, that is the answer that I was looking for. Brilliantly done. Now, area director's reports, whose responsibility is that mainly to handle?
Area director's report depends again on the trial, but since we see in District 20, it is the responsibility of the club director, because I have seen on certain Facebook posts and pages where a program quality director also follow-ups with the area director on the AD report. But in District 20, we practice that a club director follows the area director.
Brilliant. And what are you looking to develop within you as a skill through this journey of club growth directorship? Personally.
To handle situations. As you said in the beginning, that the club group director is the most difficult role, and very few people really step in the shoes of an area director or a club group director. I'm successful as a club group director. I would fulfill all the aspects of the district mission, working with a very large team, because this is something which I won't be able to do by myself, and reach out and be in touch with every district member. If our district has more than 2,000 members, I think I will be known, and I will rather know those 2,000 members.
And you've been a great candidate, Timothy, and I wish you all the best in your journey. Back to you, DLC Chair.
Right. Thank you, Kuram, and thank you, Rajeshwar, and thank you, candidates. Now this is the time to get a feedback from the two panelists. How did the candidates do well? What they could have done better from your point of view? You need not give the names if you want. You can just generally you can tell, how it went. I can start with Rajeshwar and then follow with Kuram. You got 5 minutes each for this. Both of you, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, DLC Chair, and thank you for both the candidates. 3 important things like strength or competency I found in both both of them, in a different scale. One is assertiveness. It's very important leadership skill. I found assertiveness. Second is they are motivated, self-motivated to go extra mile and do different things. Third thing, they had a distinct and differentiable personalities, which came from the voice and tone and the attitude or approach to Q&A. So these are the 3 important things I found as a strength as a division director candidates, and I think this can take you ahead definitely. And what can be done better? I'll just generalize it. Please don't take it personal. It could be today's questions and how you answer today. It can be a bad day or good day, different depending on how you approached it. One is that today leadership is more about who you are and rather than what you do. So when you talk about in an answer, you have to make out whether you have that empathy you developed or you have the service orientation, you value the Toastmasters values are predominantly known to you, and Toastmasters district mission and purpose is known to you. These should come in your answers. Whatever is the type of question, try to give that flavor in the answers. And every answer should have sort of some message or your own part of it. How do you experience, or what experience you had so long, that your part of your own identity should come in your answers. This is one thing which I thought can be improved. You can always improve it. But having said that, I found the passion in you. That passion made it a little bit sort of differentiate much, but the passion made it a little bit better compared to what we could have been done, what we could assess to. Another thing is, the more we think of how you're going to succeed in the role, you should have your thought process, how you are going to succeed if you take up this role. And that should come out strongly in your answer. So you can't say that, okay, when you form a team, you will have bring up a strategy, or when you'll have some new ideas, or you have innovations, or how you approach. You should be ready with that sort of homework. Even in Toastmaster, when they give training, they tell you, prepare in the previous term, second half year itself, they'll prepare you for the next term. They ask you even to write, who are you going to be your leadership team. So you should have, if you're done as an area director or assistant director, program quality or club growth, or that is for the division, this thing, or assistant quality in area level, then you should have thought about a team. So that should come very clearly. What is the innovation or what is the change you would like to do, having observed the past people, past leaders. Then, what important thing, what got you here, will not get you there. It's a cliche statement. So your past success as a club leader or area director may not be the skills or competency needed to succeed as a division director or in that process. We are talking about division director. So you have to find out what is that new skills you have to acquire? What is the new knowledge you have to probably get? If you look at the competency chart, there are 4 areas in the competency chart for division directors, and all are put into 4 areas. That is, one is the skills, second is knowledge, third is characteristics, fourth is attribute. So you should check in that and pick and say where you had strength, where you need to probably work on, and prepare yourself to that. So even it's nothing wrong if you say that every leader has vulnerability, irrespective of the level you reach. Even international, probably first, second, vice president or something, they also feel that vulnerability. So it's nothing wrong with vulnerability, so long as you are able to identify and understand. So these are my points on division directors. Over to you, Kuram.
Thank you, Rajeshwar. Now let's hear from Kuram.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. I just want to clarify, I'm giving the feedback on all the panelists, right? All the interviewers. Can you hear me?
Start.
No, I'm saying I'm giving the feedback on all the 3, right? Or just the 2?
All the 3 you can give. Yeah, in general. First, you can
Right,
talk about division directors, then talk about CGD separate if you want.
Brilliant. Now, thank you, Dr. Rajesh, and everybody. Good evening once again. And to the 3 interviewees who I think answered my easy questions really well. I thought that was quite nice. So first of all, brilliant answer. I loved how all of them tackled the questions well. So not everybody tried to jump in the answers, and not everybody was very eager. So if there was a question that they didn't know of and they had to think, they took a step back, thought, and then answered in a coherent way. So brilliant job done overall. A couple of just points that I would like to point out that you have to remember as candidates when you're interviewing. Specificity is important. So when we ask you, what are your plans, or what is this or that, 1, 2, 3, 4 is what will help you come out as prepared. So that shows that you're already prepared for how to handle weaker clubs, how to basically the role that you're going to be taking and the preparation that you're going to do over there. You should already have that plan. So you should speak as if you've already gotten the role, because when I'm the division director, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is what I'm going to do. And do a lot more research on the area that you're going to be doing. Now, the question that I asked Vijay about the division, of course, this is a made-up interview, and I didn't expect her to answer as such as well. But I just did that to show that interviewers can ask that question as well, as to how many clubs do you have? What's the week? If you don't know the division that you're going for, how are you going to serve them, right? So, or in other case, your district as well. So there were a couple, the time for that interview is actually going to be longer. So you've got to be prepared with a lot more questions like that as well. So different things, be prepared, be knowledgeable about all the ins and outs of the division that you're going for. And conflict resolution is a very in topic these days. So interviewers will definitely be asking you on that stuff. Now, just to answer to the feedback to Biji, for example, when I said, okay, what about the weak clubs? What can you handle? One word that I was specifically looking for was coaches. Club coaches was something, so that would have really enhanced, and I would have been like, okay, that's it. So point being, many a times when interviewers ask you these questions, they have those very specific things that they're looking for. Now, of course, you can't know what it is, and you won't be able to answer that 100%, but you should try to at least hit all the targets that you can, right? For Faisal, I think he did a good job in terms of quotes and the quotations that he brought on as well. I like that he was prepared to look the part as well. But there were a couple of times, especially when he was answering DTM Rajeshwar's question, is that I felt like he wasn't grabbing the question by the throat. I feel like he's taking the question, but he's dodging it, here and there, and then arriving at the destination. So that's what I felt like could have been not all the questions, just a couple of them. So the assertiveness part that DTM Rajeshwar mentioned is very, very accurate. But any question that comes in, you got to be able to grab it by the throat and be able to, like, I know this answer and I am the right candidate for this as well. Overall, I think all of them did very well. I loved how Dr. Olivia tackled the question about not knowing that that's not your role to do. So that is also very important, because whenever I ask questions, and those who have answered with me know that I like to put you in scenarios and test your knowledge. I know that that's not your role, but do you know that that's not your role? right? Because these are the kind of things that can encourage and really differentiate and set you apart as well. So knowing your role, preparing for the role as if you've already gotten it, be specific in terms of different things. And overall, I think all of you did great. And hopefully this was a useful session for potential candidates. Back to you, Ditiam Raj.
Thank you, Khurram. So with that, we come to an end of this mock interview. Hope those potential candidates as well as DLC
I think
members.
Raghav and I didn't cover the CGD portion. I was exclusively. I think you mentioned
something. Timer, we have time for this. Timer, we have some extra time.
Yeah, we have some extra time. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll make it very brief. I'll make it very brief because this is a very important position. One is that what important thing is roles and responsibilities. Any district officer's position, when they asked about roles and responsibility, the answers should be explicit. Like Khurram particularly put it also in that. The answer should be very explicit, and there are only 5 points to remember. So particularly for CGD, what is the main function? It is there in the CGD handbook. So this could have been done better. Then, in something, developing a plan and strategy, as I mentioned, both are two different things. And developing marketing plan or as a CGD marketing plan or club extension or club quality, club retention, all these are some specifics we should need to at least mention, because these are the buzzwords for a CGD, and you cannot talk anything other than this, when you ask about CGD. Then important aspect, particularly in a trio position, is how are you going to train your team? Because anything in Toastmasters is about team. Every position is a team. So how are you going to train your team is something I expect, as a DLC person, I would expect it to come out in some part of the answer. The last portion is, like member outreach and particularly new members or non-renewing members and retention. This also comes into as important part of CGD's roles and responsibility. So this is a sort of a general thing, and I think I leave it because the time is less. I leave it.
Okay. Thank you, Rajesh.
I have one very small thing to add that I forgot, Ditiam Raghavan, if you would allow me, just for a couple of seconds.
Please.
In our previous interview, and this is something for general knowledge of everybody, I asked a question to one of the candidates whom I knew would not know the answer to, but I just wanted to see how would he handle not knowing. And the answer to that was very straightforward. Without naming the candidate, he just said, I don't know about this, but give me 5 minutes and I can just consult the district leadership handbook and come back to you. Or when I get the role, the first thing I'm going to do is read up over it, and I'm sure I will find out, because at the interview stage, we don't expect you to know every single thing, but we want to know how do you handle not knowing every single thing, right? I just wanted to point that out as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. These are very valuable tips, what you received from these two very experienced Toastmasters. I'm sure whoever is present here, these are very useful session, this mock interview. And as people who couldn't attend this, I'm sure they'll watch this video and get ideas about this. So with that, we come to an end of this mock interview and the related affair. Right now, let me hand it back to the MC, Alan, to take it forward.
Thank you, Ditiam Raghavan, for that enlightening session. Wow, we have never seen anything like that before, especially for the members, for the audience. Now, moving on, before we go on to the next session, I would like to give you a gentle reminder to please ask your questions to me, and we will be covering those questions during the Q&A session. All right. Now, before the Q&A session, let's hear from one of the leaders about the lessons he had learned during his term as a division director. So the speaker, our next presenter, Ditiam Khurram, is a speaker, leader, communicator, and a humanitarian. He discovered Toastmasters at the age of 9. Wow, Nayan. What were you doing at Nayan? Today, he is a distinguished Toastmaster and was also elected as the youngest district director in the world, where he led his district to that is, he led our district to the top 10 in the world. He is a certified digital marketing professional from Digital Marketing Institute and an alumnus of the University of Bahrain, where he was the top of his class, and today he works in the admin marketing of education field. Personally, he's a good friend of mine, and we share our passion for starting our own YouTube channels as well. So, Kuram also holds the honor of being a TEDx speaker, and just before this event, he was at another event where he was speaking about how to land a TEDx talk. So, with a huge round of virtual applause, let's welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Kuram Salman.
Thank you, DTM Alan, for that introduction. I will just share my slides. Give me a minute. Can you hear me, see me, and my slides okay? All good.
Yes.
I just need somebody to. Okay, brilliant. Thank you once again, DTM Alan, and to all those who are present over here. It's a pleasure to have you over here. The idea of this presentation was very, very simple. In the first part, we talked about what different roles are and then prepared you for the interview that you're going to have. And this is the afterword that comes in. You know, there's a forward, there's an afterword as well where it comes in. What happens after you've done your leadership part? Now, these are a couple of lessons from the Vice that I gained during my journey of as a young leader, as a professional. And these are lessons that I was able to implement and learn not only in my leadership journey within Toastmasters, but outside as well. So a bit of a background. I do not claim to be this man over here, who is Confucius, a very famous philosopher, and he used to share a lot of lessons as well. That's not me by any means whatsoever, but I will try my best to share a few lessons that I can, that I've gained over the years as well. Now, a bit of a background, I was lucky enough to form and charter my own club back in 2014 that gave me various opportunities to actually develop myself as a leader. I was the charter president of that club as well, followed by the area director position, the division director position, and then as some of you would know, and as fate would have it, I got the opportunity to directly be the district director of the time as well. And I, otherwise it would have been DTM Rajeshwar who's over here. So thank you, DTM Rajeshwar, for that. So first thing that I believe is very, very important as a leader is your vision. Now, when we started my term as the District 20 Director, I had set a vision, and that vision is what I communicated to every single member. That was something that I embodied and something that I used to talk about at every single opportunity that I could get. And that vision was to be one of the best districts in the world. I didn't know how we were going to do it. I didn't know if we would be able to do it because we had just separated. We were a new district fairly, and all the trio that was there. So district director, PQD, and CGD, all three were new. So you've got leadership that is not succession per se, because the district had just split. But how do you ensure that your district turns out to be the best district in the world? And I believe just by having that vision and communicating it to whatever extent possible. It was April or May of my term, and I honestly had given up. I'm like, nah, I don't think we can be the best district in the world as I had envisioned initially, although we tried as much as possible. But it was surprisingly the people who were surrounding me that had started believing in that vision at times more than I had. So it's about making your team believe in that destination, in that end role that you have as well. So the power of vision is very, very powerful as a leader in whatever capacity you are. You got to set that vision and you got to let people believe in it, let them embody it as well. Because once you set the vision, it not only remains just your vision, it becomes the team's vision. And that is when you're able to accomplish it as well. Park your ego. I cannot emphasize on this enough. As a leader, you need to be able to park your ego. Nobody needs it. Your ego has not done you one single good thing ever. And I can guarantee you that. So in whichever capacity, you need to park your ego. we've seen so many examples where you go and you go like, oh, I'm the club growth director. The guy didn't call me on stage, didn't acknowledge me in the audience. And the guy is like a 2 days old Toastmaster, right? How do you expect them to know all these protocols and everything that includes in it? You are a servant leader. That gives you no boasting rights and no way should boost your ego in whichever capacity. So as a leader, you're supposed to be leaving your ego, park it outside, not needed, not necessary at all. You do what you can, but you do your best. When you become a leader, when you get the role of area director, division director, CEO, CFO, whichever, you're gonna have a lot of plans, right? You're gonna get so many things that you want to do. You want to do this, you want to do that, and that is the momentum that you carry once you get the role. But be prepared for not being able to do every single thing, and that's okay because you can't do every single thing because you're only one. But whatever you do your best. And that is very, very crucial. At the end of the day, once your term is over, and specifically from a Toastmasters perspective, if you can say that I did my best and I did all that I could, your term was successful. We stand on the shoulders of giants. Can anybody tell me who said that? It's a very famous quote. We stand on the, if I can see further, it's because we stand on the shoulder of giants. It was Isaac Newton who mentioned that in his physics. He said that if I can see further, and as you know, there's the Newtonian physics, a whole thing, a whole branch that he discovered just by falling off an apple. But he discovered that, so maybe he's a leader in his own right. And he said that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And what I mean by that is you're not stepping into a completely new role. You've got previous leaders who've been there and done that. As a leader, it is your responsibility to reach out to them in times of conflict, in times of need, in times of when you need advices. Look towards leaders to help you out, especially people who've been there, done that, and leaders whom you look up to. There's so many times when you feel overwhelmed, you don't know what to do. There's a situation, you don't know how to handle that situation. I remember there was a time when I was in a similar situation and I couldn't turn face whatever. I picked up the phone and called DT Muhammad Murad and told him, this is the problem that I'm facing. How do you recommend that I handle that? And he listened to me very intently and he advised me on what steps could I take. So we, especially in Toastmasters, are very supportive of this. So we stand on the shoulder of giants, reach out to people. I was lucky enough to be surrounded with people who were always there to listen to me, to lend me a helping hand, and to help me out in different things as well. You are not in this alone. Always try to reach to your predecessors who've been there, done that. And this part of transition in the culture that we have currently developed is something that requires a bit of change. Let's talk about a captain and his team. In the previous event that we had, Leadership Beyond the Club Part 1, one of our division directors mentioned that a captain is only as strong as his team. In other words, the team is only as strong as its weakest link. So what that means is basically if you're a team of 5 and majority of the people are performing well, but there are certain people who are not performing well, are you achieving your objective cohesively as a team? And the answer for that is probably no, you're not. So what are you supposed to do in order to ensure that that happens? And one category of leaders that you could really look up to, and you might not normally think about it, and that is pirates. Pirates, by the way, in the time when they were looting the sea and everything of that note, they were really good leaders because they put the crew above anything else. It was the crew, the loot, and everything else that used to come in. But there are certain lessons that you can take from the captain and his team, the pirates who used to be as leaders. So you need to be able to empathize and work with that particular leader whom you think might not be able to bring their best to the team, but it is your job to mentor them, to pull them up, and you never know, they might surprise you. So a captain and his team, the cohesiveness, the empathy is very, very crucial when it comes to us as well. Hecklers and naysayers. You will always have those people. We just had one candidate who mentioned that You cannot surround yourself with positive people all the time. You will have people who will tell you that you cannot achieve this. And that is not, maybe it's not out of bad intentions that they're talking about, but it could be out of their experience that they talk about. So keep in mind, when we wanted to go for Smedley Distinguished, once we had gotten President Distinguished, there were leaders within our circle who said, that's not possible, don't do it. Had we listened to them, we would not have ended up as top 10 districts in the world for that year. So listen to haters and naysayers and then tell them, show me, watch me do it. You are not perfect, but neither are you supposed to be. Keep that in mind. You're not perfect as a leader, but you're not supposed to be. You're just supposed to be doing your best. I'm just rushing because of time. Not every battle is worth fighting for. You're going to be facing so many conflicts, so many issues throughout. Everything is going to drain you, overwhelm you, and you're going to scratch your head and get white hair like I did. And you're going to go with, why even bother? But remember, not every battle in this whole thing is worth fighting for. You got to pick your battle to win the war. Always keep this in mind. One thing that I started with, that I left with, is what's your legacy? When DTM Allen became the PR, he actually got back to one of the emails that I had sent as a district director and said, can we use this as a template? And I realized at the time that that is the legacy. MailChimp, the emails that we're getting, that is, take pride in saying that that's the legacy that we've left. Xavier, I see the time. I've just got one more point. I'm coming towards it. The power of good intentions. If there was one thing that I would credit the district success that I was able to achieve by the grace of God and everybody else surrounding me, was this. I believe we as a team had good intentions. We wanted to serve the members. It was members above all. We wanted members to improve, to transform, and to really focus on implementing the core values that Toastmasters and this wonderful organization gives us. Always have your intentions clear, your heart clear. You may not be able to, there were so many things that we wanted to achieve, but we couldn't. But our heart was in the right place. And that ended up with all the people that were surrounding us, believe in the vision, and we were able to achieve it as well. Just to recap, the power of vision extremely crucial. Park your ego, you do what you can, but you do your best in all situations possible. We stand on the shoulder of giants. Please keep that in mind and stand on their shoulders tall and proud. A captain in his team, always be cohesive and always look for that weak link and how to make that stronger. Naysayers and hecklers will always be there. Try to tackle them. You're not perfect, but neither are you supposed to be. Not every battle is worth fighting for at all. You got to pick and choose. You and your legacy. Always be thinking about what you're leaving behind for the better. And the power of good intentions is absolutely underrated, but very best in producing results. Be the leader you wish you had. It's a very simple code, but very powerful. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful. Back to you, our MC of the day.
Thank you, DTM Kuram, for that enlightening session indeed. Lessons learned. I think this will also go down in your legacy. People will be looking back at this presentation when they take on the district leadership roles. Thank you once again, DTM Kuram. Now moving on to our final session, that is the Q&A session. So for this, I would like to invite our panelists.
Alan, before the Q&A, may I request to take a picture, because from 30, we are 23 now. Before it becomes much lower, take a quick photo right now.
All right. So in that case, can everyone please open your cameras and smile, give a big smile for the picture. Yes, would love to see it coming. So I will be clicking the picture in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 by 4, 3, 2, 1, and cheese. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. So now that brings us to our final segment, that is the Q&A. Please hold on. One of the questions that were asked by the audience was, okay, this is related to the interview. to the interview, so I'll ask DTM Kuram. So this was one of the questions. How far should an interviewer acknowledge the answers given by the interviewee? In the sense, can they give the feedback, well answered, or well done, brilliant? Can they do that?
I think it has to be a fine line. I think acknowledging the answers is okay because you're not hanging them. It's not a criminal investigation. It's an interview for their leadership, right? So it's if they've answered well and if that was the answer that you were looking for, then absolutely acknowledge that because it gives them encouragement. Keep in mind, no matter how experienced they are nervous, right? Because once you come in and you see 9 panelists sitting over there and all of them leaders in their own rights, any leader would be a bit confused as well. So if there's a smiling face and somebody who's helping them out and telling them, you're on the right track, it usually helps them as well. So, but you cannot be like, man, that's the answer, mic drop, and halas, you're it for me. So nothing like that of sorts. But if the leader answered something that was nice, they can really take encouragement from that acknowledgement, and that could set them and really ease them and make them comfortable. Your job as an interviewer, by the way, is not to make your candidates uncomfortable. You've got to test their strength, yes, but your job is to make them as comfortable as possible so they give the right answer. So yes, you can acknowledge, but there's a fine line over there. Don't cross that. Back to Alan.
Thank you, DTM Kuram. Yes, there's a fine line. It's up to us to know whether to not to cross it, right? Yes. So the next question from the audience is, what will be the leader's vision in general? So this is related to interviews. So I would like to ask DTM Sundareshan, would you be able to take this? What will be the leader's vision in general? Over to you.
Thank you for the question. It's very pertinent question. In any leadership, irrespective of whether it's a Toastmasters or in organization or in cultural or community, always the vision of the organization or institution or that matters. So our vision should be aligned with the organizational vision. In Toastmasters, it empowers people to become better communicators and leaders. And it is achieved through the clubs, where the experience they get imparts that knowledge in them. So where the delivery point is the club. So the leadership vision should be in line with the Toastmaster International, as far as Toastmaster is concerned. In the Toastmaster International's larger mission and vision. So if you're a district leader, our vision should be the district mission, achieve, more clubs and, achieve excellence in their other club. So it should be completely aligned. Whatever we do, even the funds we spend, the activities we carry out, the trainings we conduct, the activities we get involved, or the way we, role model as a leader, all that should finally culminate into district achieving the district mission. Since we are talking about district achieving the district mission. So we have to be very clear about this. So even Toastmasters says the entire resources, given to district leadership, we are custodian or stewardship. We have stewardship of resources. That includes the money, of course, they give the people, that is members, that is a human resource we have, and also all the assets we inherit, including the intellectual property of the Toastmaster in terms of the manual, in terms of the various educational materials and the learning and all that. So how do we use it to achieve the district mission or the Toastmaster International envisioned future or the mission is critical, like becoming every member a better leader and better communicators.
So thank you, DTM Sundareshan, for that wonderful answer. Now, there's another question. This is why area directors cannot stand for the district director's position. So I think DTM Raghavan, would you like to answer this?
Of course, I will. Why area directors cannot stand for district director? The simple answer to that is that's what TI says so. So we have nothing to question about it. But the logic could be, logic behind that could be, each leadership position, it has to be grown step by step. It is not that from club leader straight away become district director, etc. That definitely not recommended, though it is not mandatory. So I would say area director becoming division director, director becoming CGD, CGD becoming PQD, PQD becoming district director would be the real organic growth. That is something which is TI recommends, suggests, because that is how the people are trained. Each position you get training to take up this, you learn the skills to take up the next position. If you really know the second training what the district gives, second half training, the second training for the district leaders, they always train to take up the next position. How you do that? That's how it is done. So that's a simple reason area directors cannot. I'm quite happy to know that there are area directors interested to become district directors, but be a little slow. Then you can one day you can.
Yes, we need to enjoy the journey, right? Only then we get to learn more. Yes. Thank you, DTM Raghavan. Another question is, are there interviews for being an area director? I think DTM Raghavan, you can.
Yeah, as of now, area directors, there is no interview. In fact, TI manual says TI recommends district director to appoint area directors. This is what a change I found. But of course, they are not against the normal election which the area council does. If that is possible, do it. If not, district director can appoint suitable area directors. But if you really see the manual, you find appointing by district director is the first choice. Then they talk about the election. That's what the manual says. But the choice is for the members, the club members.
Yes.
The area members.
During the election, the area directors can give their speech to win the votes as well, right? Yes. Correct. This is more related to the event. Why there is no mock interview for PQD? Is it due to the time constraint, or PQD won't be interviewed? So it's definitely because of the time constraint.
Yeah, of course it is. We wanted one of the trio positions to be shown, demonstrated, because that requires a little more time. We had to go a little depth. If you see that had 15 minutes. So obviously we couldn't do all three. So someone said CGD is better. So we went for CGD. That's all. No other reason. PQD also will be interviewed. But district director also will be interviewed.
Yes. Now another question is, what are the usual reasons for not passing the interview? So I'll ask one of the interviewers, DTM Kuram, would you like to ask this? Or yes.
Sure. I mean, it depends on really some. For example, one of the last interviews that we had, very great Toastmaster, servant leader, has done a lot, but they couldn't frame their answers well in that interview. So even towards the time, there was a lot of confusion. The answers were not straight. And you could tell that even though the person is a great Toastmaster, are they really going to be a good leader in that position in particular? And the answer that most of the panelists found that answer was no, and there was another suitable candidate as well. So it's basically that what we try to gauge is, are you ready to take this position? Because you might be a great Toastmaster, great leader, but are you ready to be that sort of a leader that the time needs? So there's that part that they're not able to pass the interview at the time as well. But it also depends on how many interviews there are. The more there is, what set you apart over your competition. And it's like any other job interview, really. So what would make you successful is to how impressive you are for the people that you're giving the interview to.
No.
But not
I
only
can
style,
just
but
add,
substance as well. Please.
Yes.
And then I can add just 3 points which very clearly mentions in candidate evaluation form, which each district leadership committee member need to fill it up. That 3 points are: one is clearly the candidate clearly understand the district mission and purpose. Okay, clearly understand district mission and purpose. Second, has clear understanding and knowledge of district goals and critical success factors, like in the club growth, the membership growth, the distinguished clubs. All these factors are critical success factors. The candidate should clearly understand that. Third thing is clearly understand expectations and responsibilities of district leadership position. So if these 3 criteria are not fulfilled during the course of answering, it's not explicit or it didn't come out clearly, respect to being very eloquent and very candid with answers, probably you may stand there are 5 ways a person can be marked. 0 is cannot. Third is one is needs improvement. Second is marginal. The 3 is meets expectations. 4 is exceed expectations. 5 is exceptional. So a candidate can get ranked between these two, one extreme to another one, 0 to 5. So depending on how well you do in these 3 aspects, in the 3 areas like leadership, management, team building, and Toastmasters knowledge.
Thank
That
you.
is how it is determined.
Thank you,
Alan,
detailed.
the allotted time is over for question and answers. Do you have any more questions?
There are 2 more questions. So should we take that, or should we keep it towards the end of the session after we
I
conclude?
think, yeah, we have to stick to the time. Otherwise, they are very important. Good questions. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So one of them is quite simple. For the district trio positions, just 3 are interviewed, or interview is even conducted for the district PR manager and the DFM. So, do you want to take this?
In our district, it is not done, but it is Toastmasters International says if required, you can do that. But we in District 20, District 116, and all these come out from District 79. We all have following bylaws which says that it will be appointed by the district director. These positions, only the positions I showed in my presentation, there is 9 division directors, 1 CGD, 1 PQD, 1 district director. Only this 9 plus 3, 12 positions are for election and interview and election.
And the last question is, one of the challenges is to look for a successor. How district can help any upcoming leader to guide to find one?
Who want to answer this?
I didn't get the question.
I'll answer it. The team Rajeshwar can jump in on that. So the answer is, how can the district help you? So the question is, Alan, would you like to?
One of the challenges is to look for a successor. How district can help any upcoming leader to guide to find one?
Well, the answer to that is ask your district director, because she's there. But in all honesty, because we've done our part, they've done that. But in all honesty, I mean, finding a successor is one of the crucial things that you have. And the district does, because it's more on the individual level that you are on. The district can emphasize that you have to do it, but to do it is your responsibility. Now, if you're finding trouble getting a successor, you need to reach out to the district for help, and it's not the other way around. The district will not, hey, do you need a successor? Here, there you go, there's a successor. It won't work like that, right? So you have to reach out and let the district know that we are looking for a successor. I'm facing trouble. I would like my success to continue. And in that case, the district can then, and this is on a personal level, by the way, it's not mandatory for the district to absolutely be there for you, because you're the division director, you're doing your role. So they can help you locate somebody as a potential whom they see can fit, and then you both can see how it works, but it is your responsibility and you can reach out to the district for help.
I would like to add to this point, finding successor is your responsibility, whoever is holding that. District or division or nobody going to help, nobody should help. But how do you do that? Simple solution, I'll tell you. If you are a division director, you have 2 assistant division directors with you. Technically and ideally, one of them should succeed you. And you are under your guidance, when you are the division director, those 2 assistant division directors are getting trained for 1 full year how to run a division. What are the activities required? This goes same for area director. He's got 2 assistant area directors under him, or could be, even secretary or whomever is you are finding suitable, you can. I find some of the districts, some of the divisions in Qatar, there is District 116, they choose, that depends on, you choose the right people as your assistants. You have this vision in your mind. When you are a division director, you choose 2 people to assist you who are already area directors. So who have already worked in a division or a district, they know how it works. Make them as your assistants, and they are groomed to take over from you as the next division director. And this is happening. I'm so proud to say that in Qatar, District 116, this is happening very perfectly. Some of the people, they just groom them in such a way that in December itself, some of the division directors announced so-and-so is going to be the next division director. Can you believe? And the candidate, of course, the candidate. And we find generally they get elected without any real election, contest. because they are so perfectly positioned and put into that slot. The successor is already there. The moment you are appointing assistant division directors or assistant area directors, you already have a successor. You have, in fact, two to choose from, two successor to choose from. You can choose the best one. That's what we do here.
Got it.
I think I want to just add one sentence. The real success of leadership as per Toastmasters is the sustainable success. How you maybe your term may be a very successful term, but unless the success is not sustained, that means your practices have some shortcoming that prevented the sustainability of the success. So your leadership challenge is to create sustainable practices, sustainable leadership, and sustainable, activities that promote the whole district once again into the same category. So, in fact, one thing even I heard from, I think, Deepak Menon, past international president, is that, the success, the district, I think 82, I think it was India and Sri Lanka, something like that. They were 5 times world's #1 district. It said that it is not because the leaders, the success is not because of the leader. It is the members who made that sustainable success. So the practices became so deep-rooted at the level of members that the success just became something like it is part of the story, part of everyone's activity. So it became a habituated.
Got it. Yes, thank you. Thank you, panel. Thank you, DTM Sundaresan. So that concludes our Q&A, and that brings us to the last segment. And for this, it is none other than our district director. Yes, she has come from a service background where she has helped patients with a comprehensive reformation, a physiotherapist by profession who believes in holistic rehabilitation of her patients. In her term as in Toastmasters, she was humbled to receive the Best Division Director of the Year award, the Best YLP Coordinator, the DTAC. She was also the DTAC Vice Chair, and also she had the Excellence in Program Quality Award at this year August convention, where she held her district to medley distinguished in educational goals. With a huge round of virtual applause, please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Alifia Lektawala.
Thank you, DTM Alan Paul, our PR manager for District 20. I have no enough words to thank the panelists and the role players who have participated in this second event today. My sincere thank you to our senior Toastmasters from District 116, DTM Rajeshwar and DTM Raghavan Menon, and our past District Director, DTM Khurram Salman, to participate in this event today to enlighten our members regarding future leadership role. This year, as District Director, the vision for District 20 is to cause awareness. Awareness, whether in terms of its presence in social media, awareness, whether it comes to education, whether it comes to roles and responsibility. So members, this was just a small attempt by the district to make you all aware of the DLC procedures, how each candidate would be voted and what really goes behind in the DLC committee. As you heard that, we will have a DLC feedback form and why one candidate is nominated and other is not. So these are actually the way things really work at the district level. And if you feel that you are the right candidate this year for the division director role or for the trio role, do reach out to the district leadership handbook, read whether you qualify all the criteria, and definitely apply from the 10th of December to the 10th of January to our current, this year appointed DLC chair, that is DTM Raghavan Menon. Thank you to the role players, my brilliant district office, starting from the PQD, CGD, our admin manager, our PR manager, our district finance manager, our logistic manager, and his extended team in Bahrain and Kuwait. I am very happy to see our immediate past Division E Director, DTM Xavier Yeshudas, take up the timer role and supporting us on timely basis. So thank you. And thank you to all the division directors. I was seeing them, they were quite keen and understanding because, I mean, this current year, District 20 has appointed most of the division directors. So this is something which is a highlight, or rather a lesson which we should take forward and encourage and empower our members to come forward and nominate or give their nominations for elections. So something which our district should reap the legacy ahead, because we as leaders are equally responsible for creating our successors. So thank you, District Office, and thank you once again to all the presenters on behalf of District 20 that you all have done a brilliant, brilliant job. I mean, there were a few things which even I came to know today. So we all keep learning in our leadership journey. So thank you once again, and back to our Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, District Director Alifa Laktawala. Yes, indeed. So that brings us to the end of our session. I hope you all learned a lot from this. So thank you all once again. And this is me signing off.